the Meiji Emperor himself, not that I ever knew the guy, the gentleman, well, he was actually very, very significant in the history of Asia. And if you look at the development going on in China right now, think of that during the Meiji period in Japan. But during the Meiji period, it was like about 5 times faster. Oh yeah, 5 times faster. They went from basically nothing in the old Japan to a modern world power, which is incredible. You know, whereas China's gone from being basically a modern world power with nuclear weapons and sandals to a modern world power with nuclear weapons and Reeboks, basically. That's all it is. That's my analysis of the last 30 years of Chinese development. I mean, you know, it's all going to end pretty soon, and the pundits are saying it's going to crash, and they're going to have a lot of trouble because no one's buying their stuff, and they got to compete with everyone like Cambodia and Laos and Thailand and Vietnam and all these other countries like India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, right? So this Meiji place is significant because Meiji himself was significant, and that's his shrine. A lot of people get married there. You can go there on the weekends and see them getting married. You see the monks with the funny hats. You see the parasols, the umbrellas, the kasa, as it's called in Japanese. There's a Japanese word of the week, kasa. Kasa means umbrella, right? Kasa. It's a Japanese word for umbrella, okay? As you can tell from my pronunciation, I'm a pretty good expert Japanese speaker. If you want some more Japanese words in the podcast, let me know in the forum and I'll do it for you. No problem at all. Tokyo Joe will do that for you from me to you. So, this Meiji place is kind of important, right? People have got to respect it. So please, tourists, when you come to the Meiji Jingu Shrine, please don't act like a douchebag. I know you come from Europe somewhere, but that doesn't mean you can act like a douchebag. Okay? Alright, you're in Japan now. You're not in friggin' Welfareville, Europe. Right? This is not Welfareville. You do not have a flat given to you by the city. You do not get welfare here. Right? It is Japan. Please, when you're in Tokyo and you're visiting the Meiji Jingu Shrine, show some manners. Because you don't know who's watching you. I mean, there could be guys there who have been living there for hundreds of years. You know, like the Japanese. And they don't like it. Or there could be a guy just like little old me, Tokyo Joe, who just goes, what's going on? I just came here for a nice, quiet time. But instead, I get all this hollering from all these grown-ups, well, they're supposed to be, from Europe, or wherever they're from. Right? So please, understand, one, Meiji Jingu is kind of important because Emperor Meiji himself was very important in history. Right? And not just in Japan, but in Asia, as I've just explained with my little history lesson. Two, please understand, if you're a grown-up, act like a grown-up, because, you know, there's only one Meiji Jingu shrine in the whole world, and that's the one here in Tokyo. And there ain't no room in the Meiji Jingu shrine for European douchebags who will think they're back in their own little, you know, apartment made of concrete provided to them by the city with their 200 euros in welfare that week. Okay? Okay. Glad you got the message. Hey everyone, this is Tokyo Joe. Welcome to the Tokyo Forum Podcast. We got a number of things to discuss this week. First thing though is my good friend Tokyo Jim. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I met him a few years ago. And he was actually on his way to setting up a new lot in New Zealand. And he did, with his family. And Tokyo Jim, he's from Scotland, which is north of England in the United Kingdom. Scotland's famous, of course, because they got the haggis and they got the shortbread and they got the whiskey, which is what Tokyo Joe likes when no one else is looking. I get through that stuff so quickly. I could drink a whole bottle every single week. Good stuff, you know, easily. A whole bottle. But back in the day, I used to drink a lot more. Alright, so my friend Jim had to go to New Zealand with his family for work. He got all the papers and went down there and lived. And after the first week working down there, he didn't like it. He just, for different reasons. He got depressed and he realized that he was stuck. What could he do? Because he just put a lot of money into a house and he was quite lucky. I met this guy years ago, actually at a famous bar here in a hotel in Tokyo. He was traveling with his family. And I met him and his wife, nice people. And we got talking. And so he went to New Zealand about a year ago with his work. And contacted me pretty much about 9-10 months ago. He said that after the first week, he didn't like it. He was in a city there called Auckland. And Auckland's actually the biggest city in New Zealand. It's the capital, I think. And it's the biggest city, anyway. And Tokyo Joe, being the good guy that he is, was kind of worried, actually, because the stuff this guy was writing, Jim was writing to me about all kinds of really crazy stuff going on, like kids fighting and going to the mall in the middle of the night and like with your family on late night shopping and, you know, fighting and hollering and people drunk. Sounded like he was like a scene out of the Bible, a really bad one, you know. And so, or like from the olden days, you know, people fighting in the streets. He said it was like the Wild West. He wasn't used to it. Now, Jim's pretty particular with that kind of stuff, so I don't know what's really going on down there, but he also said he didn't want his daughter to get pregnant, and she's in high school now, and stuff like that. So, he said he made the biggest mistake in his life, and just had to eat it because he had no other choice. He went down with his family and got the papers and bought a house. Cost a lot of money. Now he can't sell the house because it's not worth anything. There's been big troubles there. I wonder if any of you from New Zealand here in Tokyo can get in touch with me and let me know why you're in Tokyo and what's it like back in Auckland, New Zealand. Because New Zealand's kind of an interesting place. It's got a lot of greenery and hills, and you got a lot of sheep, and it's famous for the lamb. You know, I've had New Zealand lamb myself. I see this stuff in the supermarkets. Sometimes I do. I haven't seen some for a few years, but I've seen it. It looks good. So what's going on down there in New Zealand? And the second thing is, how do we help our friend Tokyo Jim? You know, he's made his mind up. He wants to live in Tokyo. And he's going to bring his family here. He's got just enough money to get here and spend some time here looking for a job with a company or major international company or small one. He's taking Japanese classes, actually, every single night. Every single night after work, he goes to this place in Auckland and has Japanese classes so he can move here. And he's lost his money. He's going to have to eat that.